We saw Thursday and Friday trade higher with the dollar index. So if we look at gold right out of this market into what would normally be a diametrically opposed delivery, look what we're seeing here. See, gold and dollar are moving in tandem. That's something that I don't like to see. I'd like to see where there is a diametrically opposed delivery, where a symmetrical market would be where dollar goes lower, gold is permitted to go higher. It doesn't mean that it will go higher. It just means that it's most likely won't go down. Won't go down. It can consolidate and slowly work its way higher, but either way, it should not be moving in the same direction. Now, what causes these types of things? It's an event-driven market. Gold is highly manipulated, and it's also treated as sometimes as a safe haven market as well. Couple that with the fact that there's central banks around the world that are really trying to build up their gold supplies because they're going to be doing central bank digital currencies. And they're going to try, like the BRICS nation, they're trying to sell the idea that their currency that they're going to release later on will be a gold-backed currency. So it would demolish the dollar because it's built and based on an idea that's an illusion. This is what we say it's worth. Do you believe us? That's the honor system. Okay, it's not like it used to be. When it took us off the gold standard, it became an illusion, and then we created this relationship with Saudi Arabia. Said, look, we're going to protect you as long as you make everyone buy your oil with dollars. Well, there's a departure from that right now, and we're seeing this shift away where Saudi Arabia is now allowing an interest in purchasing their oil outside the dollar. So we've never had that since we came off the dollar index. I'm sorry, since we came off the gold standard. When Nixon took when Nixon took us off the gold standard, we basically had an illusion of currency. I mean, they're all illusions, really, if you think about it. But we really had an illusion that there was nothing behind our currency. So we started playing the mafia with Saudi Arabia when nobody was attacking it and said, hey, look, we're going to protect you. But in response to that, you do us a solid and only sell your oil through dollars. It has to be US dollars. So we've been allowing our own currency to be propped up by the sale of another country's commodity, which when you think about it, when you really can come to terms with it, it's really asinine. Like how is that? Like that shouldn't have been like that ever. And now that country is departing from that arrangement, not entirely, but it's allowing, and I think what it's doing, it's got its toe in the water to see what will we do in response. Well, when we're staring at Russia and China together in a fortified union, building on opposition to the greenback or the dollar, we're doing nothing. That's what we're doing. We're sitting back and letting them do whatever they want to do because we're technically outnumbered. And it's been checkmate for 2 years now. And nobody really understands that. And all the other nations are slowly siding with those BRICS nations. And you're actually seeing the culmination of that last beast that the book of Daniel talks about. And I'm not going to get into that here, but that's what I see happening. And we are in dire straits economically when that becomes full on and they release their currency where everybody sees it's gold backed. There's nothing holding up our dollar then. And then we will see Venezuela 2.0 right here in the United States. And it's going to happen real fast like that. So because of all those factors that are weighing heavily on my decision making, that's why I'm not also trading in Forex, because I think there's going to be a decoupling that's going to happen so sudden that brokerage firms, financial institutions, banks, traders, they're all going to get destroyed real fast because it's going to be just like the Eurodollar and the Swiss franc. When there was the decoupling, it was like a nuclear bomb going off. I mean, business as usual after that happened, but it was very scary seeing huge runs, 1,000-pip swings instantaneously. You're not ready for that. And I don't care if you're trading on a funded account and you think you're safe. Those things won't be around after that. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. Like that, I'm not willing to invest in Forex because of that very thing that's looming. That's not to say that that can't create reverberations and ripples so large that they wouldn't be painful in futures or commodities or, well, I said index futures, but in bond market, they'll have them too. But currencies are that's where the target is right now. The target is currencies. They want to have a smaller basket to choose from in terms of currencies. And the first thing they want to take away is the dollar and the influence that we've had over everyone else's nation, and tried to be the world police and use it like a sharp stick and say, you better do this or else. And now all these other nations that are just as powerful, if not now more powerful than US, because they've outnumbered us. On the chessboard, there's too many superpowers that are standing against us in opposition, saying, we don't need your dollar. And the average person isn't aware of that. They don't think that way because they have their dollars coming to them in their paycheck. Even though it's more expensive to buy everything, that's the extent of their visibility. They don't see anything past that. So there's a lot of concern that all of you should have, and you should be trying to do whatever you can to fortify your home with things that you may need, because our currency could be devalued rather quickly. And what you think you have in the bank versus what you actually have to spend with it is totally two different things. And that's further communicated given the total global climate where we are. There's a lot of saber rattling and war talk amongst nations, and gold's rallying up like that while the dollar's going higher too. So I want to see what continues on Monday. Sunday night, a little bit later today when we see the market open up, does gold go higher? Does dollar go higher? Because one of the two is going to not do it. One's going to give up. And I'm thinking that at least for the first couple days, gold will continue higher and dollar can consolidate. Now, do you see why I said all I said about the dollar index? And I just can't simply say it in a 5-second expose of what it is I'm contemplating. There's a lot of factors that weigh on why I said the very things I said in just a few minutes of talking about. I want to see it stay in a range, or I'm anticipating it staying in a range. But my focus is what we're seeing in gold, because gold's going to be the catalyst behind the follow through higher on dollar, or if it's continuing higher for gold, and gold wants to run for the buy side here. If it wants to run there, that means that it might cause dollar to stay in that range I outlined. And then once it gets here, does it power higher? And if it does, then it's going to probably send that dollar index down into that daily fair value gap, which again still would not mean a buy for me. I would need to weigh out what gold is doing at the same time that the dollar index is dropping down into that daily fair value gap.